Most men hit a point in midlife where they start to feel a bit off. Maybe you've achieved all the things, survived the battles, built a family and a home, built a successful career, and checked off all the boxes. But something inside still feels a bit restless, uncertain, a bit empty or feeling stuck. And this is that silent storm of midlife. It's not a weakness. There's nothing wrong with you. This is your call to awaken to yourself. My name is Ed Heegan. I'm a former New York City firefighter, and now I'm a mindfulness, meditation, and breathwork guide. And I help men to do the inner work, to rebuild peace, strength, resilience, and emotional balance from the inside out. And in this video, we're going to talk about why so many men feel lost in midlife, and how doing the inner work can help you find your footing again. I just want to go over some key points to help us understand where these challenges come from, because this shift from external validation and success to internal emptiness can feel overwhelming sometimes. We're used to looking outside of ourselves for fulfillment by checking off all those boxes and doing all the things that people told us to do, climbing that corporate ladder and doing all the things that are supposed to make us feel successful, accomplished, and satisfied. But what happens when what used to fulfill you, like your career, the status, the adrenaline, the success, what happens when that stops working? Well, we're kind of forced to turn inward. It's that quiet realization that I've built a life, I've done all the things I was supposed to do, but something feels like it's missing. And sometimes it's the unresolved pain that catches up to us. Sometimes we go through things in life where we have challenges or loss, defeat, disappointments, and we don't fully process them. And if we don't fully mourn and grieve and process and integrate some of those experiences, they can manifest themselves in many different ways. When we suppress our emotions, grief, or guilt, it starts to surface when life slows down a bit in midlife. And the distractions we're used to, like maybe going out with friends or partying or habits, they stop working in midlife. They don't really numb and distract us the way that they used to. We can't avoid those feelings anymore, and we're kind of forced to face ourselves. And understand that there's a myth in this idea that we should have everything all figured out. I'm of the mindset that everybody in this life is simply at varying degrees of pretending like they have things figured out. No one really knows what's best for you, especially when you get to midlife. If you've lost your parents and you're the responsible adult in the room now, you start to realize that nobody's really got anything figured out. That it's up to you to set the tone for how you want your life to be, what satisfies you, defining success, meaning, and purpose. It's all up to you, because there's no one coming to save you and tell you what you should be doing. That you should have it all figured out is really just a myth. I mean, society tells us to be stoic as men, to not be vulnerable. And so oftentimes we suffer in silence. And that can just make our suffering so much worse, because we're not taught to reach out and talk about these things or connect. We don't even sometimes know how to properly feel the feelings of sadness, grief, mourning, the loss of maybe being a parent because our kids are adults now, or if we're no longer at the top of our career, what it feels like to no longer be at the top of our game. And if we don't feel success from our career and from the outward things, it's up to us to redefine meaning and purpose for ourselves. So it's not a failure to admit that we can sometimes be confused about what we're supposed to be doing in midlife. It's actually a form of courage and strength and bravery to seek deeper understanding. And so we get to redefine what strength is as a man. Because real strength isn't in control. It's not in expectation that things should be a certain way. It's more in acceptance and presence, of knowing that we can have faith in the way things are, and in some ways to go with the flow by accepting the way things are, even if it's not exactly the way that we anticipated or planned. And we start to realize that there's power in that. There's power in acceptance, in stillness, in simply breathing and staying grounded and aware. And these are all tools that we can use to develop a really grounded masculinity as we get older. That it's not about forcing things aggressively, but about allowing things and holding space for ourselves in which we can accept the reality of the way things are. And so the way forward in midlife is to do the inner work. And what doing the work actually looks like is different for everybody. But it does require us to reflect on our lives. Maybe we want to look at the things we did right or wrong and kind of list them out. Get a benchmark of the changes we need to make, where we can make improvements, where we want to avoid certain things. And that kind of reflection can be really valuable. But let's do this from a place of being grounded, relaxed, still, breathing deeply, and having some real honesty and accountability by taking responsibility for the choices that we made. This is no time to fall into a victim mentality. This is an opportunity to accept responsibility for where we are in life. And in that way, we take our power back. Because healing old patterns and rebuilding emotional resilience requires that kind of mindfulness where we're able to be honest with ourselves. So I just want to remind you, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just evolving in midlife. Midlife is not a crisis. It's a crossroads where we can continue to walk down the same path or make some changes that might improve the quality of the rest of our years. And you can rebuild your peace and direction from within. It's no longer time to look outside. That was for the earlier part of your life when you listened to what people told you to do. But now it's up to us to kind of use our intuition and have faith and confidence to turn inward and rely and have faith in ourselves. So just to let you know and remind you that this stage of life is not here to punish you. It's here to guide you toward a deeper and more authentic version of yourself. The man you're becoming isn't built by force, but by awareness, courage, and having some self-compassion. And you don't have to walk this journey alone. If you want to receive some guidance and understand this process a little bit better, you can start your journey toward inner peace and healing today. You can book a free discovery call and just click the link in the description below and let's connect. And just remember that as you get older, practicing self-care is the gift that we give to ourselves so we can show up as the best version of ourselves in this life. So take care of yourself and each other. Thanks for watching.